Hi there, and thank you for watching this 5-minute video. In this video, what I'm going to attempt to do is answer the question, how come some people cope really well under difficult circumstances while others don't? And then to invite you to reflect on how well you're doing right now. So to answer that question, what I'm going to do is explore some factors that would generally tend to seem like they're not in your immediate control. And then I'm going to look at an area where you do have some control. It will require some practice, but at least there's something that you can do to improve your situation if it needs improvement. So let's go back to our original question. How come some people can cope really well? Well, to answer that, we need to explore factors that are influencing our ability to cope on a daily basis. There are 6 factors that I'm going to explore with you. The first one is past difficulties. How did you manage past difficulties? What did you reflect and learn from those experiences? How did you grow and develop as a result? And most importantly, what are you currently doing differently from learning from that experience? So you might see people who decide, from now on, I'm going to be far more independent in my life. From now on, I'm going to make sure that I save for a rainy day. And from now on, I'm going to be fitter, healthier, and I'm going to make sure that my relationship with my significant others is very strong. The second one is how psychologically well you are, regardless of the timing of this event. So it will be difficult to expect of you to be cool, calm, and collected if you're struggling with anxiety on a daily basis. Equally, it's very difficult to expect of you to be positive and hopeful if you're struggling with depression or if you're caring for somebody who has significant psychological needs. The third aspect is the timing of this event in your life. You might just have come out of a really significant transition already, and you might not have the emotional capacity to deal with yet another change. Second is you might be caring for young children, you might be caring for aging parents, and you might just have ended up a relationship and find yourself alone, or sharing accommodation with people you don't necessarily want to share accommodation with. The fourth one is your personality type. So if you are extroverted and you need a lot of social engagement and social activities, you might struggle a bit more unless you found creative ways of engaging with others. Whereas if you are introverted and need a lot of quiet downtime and personal reflection time, you might actually sail through this experience. Then we need to look at the specialty that you're working in. So if you're at the front line, how has life changed for you at work? And equally, if you're not at the front lines, how does that impact on your emotional well-being? You might feel left behind, and that could bring a whole host of other feelings to the fore for you. And lastly is your ability to access resources. So all of us will have access to resources in our day-to-day living that will make life slightly easier. That could be your favorite food, that could be your family and friends, or it could be a really good working Wi-Fi. All of those little things make a big difference to our ability to cope with daily difficulties. So putting those to the side, because as I said, you might not have immediate control over those. What you do have control over is your emotional intelligence. And in here, I will very briefly explain that there are 5 factors connected with how well we fare in difficult situations. So the 5 factors are compassion, hope, flexibility, adaptability, and self-management. So the first one, compassion, that is really the force that drives us towards helping other people. It's our ability to find kindness, to see that other people are struggling, and to reach out and try to help them. Research indicates that when we step outside of ourselves and try to help other people, we feel better as a result. Second is hope, and hope means having a core belief that we will get through this, and not only will we get through this, there will be some positives that will come out of it, that we will fare better as society and as individuals. People who have a great dose of hope also tend to avoid dramatic language like this is awful, this is a calamity, and instead they might say, well, these are challenging times, but we're working through it together. The third is flexibility. And flexibility is the opposite of being rigid. It means that we're able to bend the rules for ourselves, that we're able to change when we're asked to change without making massive fuss and going with the flow and thinking outside of the box. So we're able to just maneuver ourselves a little bit more easily than those who are very rigid and can't really change or cope with change. Then we have adaptability, and adaptability is where people generally tend to experience the biggest level of self-growth. This is areas, for example, like getting rid of the fear that we have of technology and trying something new. This is when we're reaching out to people and work with people that we haven't engaged with before, or just learning new ways of dealing with illnesses and diseases, or using different equipment that we haven't before. So this is where we grow, learn, and develop. And then last is our ability to self-manage. And in self-management, what's first important is that we acknowledge that we have feelings and finding healthy ways to deal with negative emotions as they come. So if we acknowledge that we are feeling stress, we also know the ways that would help us to reduce the level of stress. So it could be playing the piano, it could be walking the dogs, it could be getting some fresh air. So to finish up, I'd like to just share a quote from a really excellent book that I would encourage all of you to read by Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning. And what he says is that when we are no longer able to change our circumstances, then we are challenged to change ourselves. Stay safe and stay connected with us. Take care.